Okay guys, so before this starts, I want to give like a quick little monologue for you guys about this video and basically what has been happening through it. So basically, I started this video back in 2023, like late 2023, and I was like around 10 minutes into the editing process. Like the video was 10 minutes long, yeah. So it's good to say I was around a quarter through the editing process. But at around that point, my computer, like, just stopped working. Something about the GPU just, like, crashed. And I had to bring it into Best Buy to get repaired. It took a few weeks. Basically, I thought my DaVinci files would be fine, right? Like, they'd be saved and stuff, because that's what I heard. No, they were not. They were not saved. So I had to start on this video from the beginning. And keep in mind, I'm doing this in real time, so I'm not... The video is... I have not recorded the entire thing yet. That's what I'm trying to say. So I just wanted to give a quick update about that, and that I'm very sorry about how long this video has been taking. It will be released. So, yeah. Alright guys, so I know there are two things you are likely thinking from this video, and the first is that this isn't what I usually make, and that Iceberg videos aren't really trendy anymore, whatever. But I saw this one on Reddit, and it grabbed my attention. Alright, I saw this post by you/idiotic idiot about the MDickie Iceberg. If you weren't aware, MDickie is an indie game developer that I've been following since I was like 6. So when I saw they made a full-on Iceberg about his games, I was immediately interested. The thought of covering an Iceberg about this guy who I've been a fan of for over half my life made me know that I had to do it. Now I have to say, this Iceberg isn't going to be a Wendigoon or your everyday theorist kind of in-depth long Iceberg. I mean, I will be going in-depth on a lot of topics here, but not to the extent of something like that. I'm going to be trying to keep this video simple and easy to understand during a lot of the more complicated entries. And also, thank you to Idiotic Idiot for creating this Iceberg. I actually learned a lot of things I didn't know before, so big thanks to him. Now, without hesitation, let's dive in. This part of the Iceberg is likely referring to the 3 games, Booking Revolution, Wrestling Revolution 3D, and Wrestling Revolution 2D. And I guess they are kind of like a trilogy, and yeah, that's pretty much all there is to this entry. This one mostly explains itself. Matt has created a lot of characters for his games, a lot of them being parodies of famous wrestlers, like for example Jimmy Sierra or Hank Slogan, of course being parodies of John Cena and Hulk Hogan. But he has created original characters, most notably Boomtown, Yeah Massacre, and of course, Whack Axe. Dang, is the community obsessed with him. MDickie has made lots of 2D games for mobile and PC. For mobile gamers, he's probably more well known for his 2D games than his 3D games. I personally don't like his 2D games, but I do need to give credit where it's due. I mean, it did make MDickie more popular, and ironically enough, I wouldn't, even know who he is if it wasn't for his 2D games. Matt has self-inserted himself into so many games it would be impossible to list them all here, but he's pretty much in every industry simulator that he's made. So, reviewers aren't very kind to Matt. They usually get pretty bad reviews. I personally think these reviews are too harsh considering the time frame these games are made in. Hard Time was made in only 3 months, so I can only guess the time frames the other games are made in. Matt has been in the world of programming probably longer than you've been alive. He was there during the old age of the internet, like 2002. So he's been around for a long time. I think he has a kid actually, so good for him. Yup, Trump is in a lot of MDickie games, and Obama. yeah. This is likely referring to how there haven't been any 2D games for almost 4 years. He still updates a lot of them regularly, though. I don't really miss them. Despite Matt having a vast library of games under his belt and over 20 years of experience, Matt never works with big companies, probably because of their manipulative tactics when it comes to contracts. Matt loves any criticism from YouTubers, whether positive or negative, as it's still giving him attention. It speaks for itself. Wrestling Empires on Switch. Matt hates Android. Why? I think it's because of people pirating his games or something to do with that. Okay guys, so this was all recorded and stuff, but a recent revelation actually just came out. The MDickie uncensored version has been found on Reddit. Just look up MDickie uncensored found on Reddit, and yeah, it's been found. I don't want to play the uncensored audios here, but if you look it up on Reddit, they're there. Yeah, it's actually really cool. And I also didn't add that when I asked TP Main if he could give me the uncensored version, he sent me just a link to a download game file, but I had no idea how to do that. But apparently he gave it to someone else too, and they downloaded it and stuff. But yeah, that's just really cool. I never expected this to be found, because, you know, Matt didn't have it, and even if he did, he would never release that. Like, that game did not, some of those things have not been too good on Matt's image. But, yeah, I mean, that's great that it's been found. I don't know if all of it's been found. Some of it has definitely been found, which you can look it up for yourself, but it's awesome. That's all I have to say. This is probably referring to the pretty sizable modding community for MDickie, which, I mean, yeah, there are a lot of mods, and most of them are actually pretty fun and creative. This one confused the living out of me, because I can swear that I have seen people throw other wrestlers out the window in Wrestling Empire, but apparently, this is only something you can do in Wrestling Revolution. This one is just crazy to me, so I contacted the creator of the Iceberg. And, yeah, apparently you can break the window, but you cannot throw people through it. Just pretty lame. I swear I remember people, you know, just throwing other wrestlers through the window. I probably mixing it up with Wrestling Revolution 3D. I don't even remember that at all. I don't ever remember even wrestling in an office in Wrestling Revolution 3D. And I played that rather recently, too, so that's... Oh my gosh, this is crazy. So the New Testament got a lot of criticism from Christians, but I don't think this is what this is mainly talking about. I think that this entry is mainly discussing the game, The Making of a Prophet. This game has become very controversial due to its portrayal of the Muslim prophet Muhammad. This game was eventually deleted off of Matt's website and has since become forgotten. You can still download the game on CNET, so it's not hard to find. So, yeah. In his earlier games like Hard Time, the New Testament, and some of his 2D games, you could lose limbs. I'd say the reason this was removed is likely because Matt didn't want his later games to have gore. That's probably it, but I don't know. Now this one is really cool. If you're a fan of MDickie, there's a very high chance you've heard this before.
I think I'm mad like you. I'm not so crazy cause I'm mad like you. Negotiated and I really wanna hook you up what you need. But okay, no touching, no beating, no reading. No, I'm not that easy, but I broke in a plastic cow. Smiling to my will is brown. By all the little outfits standing. You little plastic cow. You little plastic cow.
Yup, the theme song for Wrestling Revolution. And yes, it was made by this band, Sick Logic. Still don't know how this song ended up as the theme for this game, but, I mean, it's cool nonetheless. This one is similar to the last one, but instead they made the My Time theme for Wrestling Empire. Researching this band was much harder because Wolves is a name that seems that a ton of bands have, actually, so I couldn't really find much. Matt has stated multiple times that he has seen people playing his games in public places before. This isn't really surprising that some of his games have gotten tens of millions of downloads. There's many entrance or game themes that have voice samples from music softwares that Matt used back then. Nobody knows who the singers are, and safe to say we may never know. But they were likely just people who worked for the sample services he used. There's not a lot to say for this topic, but Matt wrote a book about the cultural impact of sports. Again, there's not a lot to say, but it's pretty darn interesting. In Wrestling Empire, there's a locked door in the office. This was likely a scrapped idea from Matt, but other than that, again, I'm not sure. I've been saying that a lot. I really should. But yeah, I just don't really know. This is referring to how Matt will post videos on Twitter showing new features of Wrestling Empire that haven't been released yet. A lot of the things that he shows never become part of the game, and we're probably just showcasing some ideas he has. This was a website Matt made to showcase a lot of his earlier games before his modern website was created. If you want to visit this website now, unfortunately it's gone, likely due to the creation of MDickie.com. The song that was originally used in School Days was the theme music to a British TV show, Grange Hill, which was likely changed due to copyright. Specifically remember the song, and it's honestly way better than the new one. Yeah, for some reason United Kingdom Wrestling is not a part of Wrestling Empire. I don't know why this is. He may have removed it from the project to make way for other features. Matt's old email. Another book that Matt wrote. This one is about his experience in making games. A teacher that Matt at Sir John Northrop School in Brig. Yeah. He died at the age of 63. The reason why is unknown, but his wife raised money to install defibrillators in the school in memory of him, so it was likely cardiac arrest. You could find a poster of memory of him in School Days. Rest in peace. heavily believed to be the first ever MDickie interview. This interview is heavily believed to be lost, if it was ever recorded at all. Any info about this interview is very vague and hard to find. Fun fact, he was still called Matt with 2 T's at this time. There's not much I have to say aside from that. Matt is confirmed to have a wife and a kid. Not a lot to say here, but good for him. This is the university that Matt attended back when he was learning programming. This is likely where he learned a lot of the information he used to make games. Okay, this one is pretty interesting. This was probably intended to be the 4th Sure Shot game. In this game, your fellow soldiers are being dropped out of a plane to their death, so you must blast them into nearby mountaintops. This one is really cool to me and a game I would really like to play. Reasons for its cancellation are unknown, and we can only really speculate. In an interview, Matt said that he was trying to learn Mandarin as his second language. Okay, I'm only learning right now that a lot of like mysterious and creepy stuff is bundled in with stuff like Matt learning Mandarin. Like, what the Matt said in a Q&A that he hates programming and that it can F off. A game idea where a small group of amateur football players traveling and playing against locals. Matt said it would be an adventure over everything else. He used this idea and made it to another game which it eventually didn't end up releasing. More on that later. Another game idea where there's not really a goal other than to just fight anywhere at any time because people were watching wrestling. The game never happened, but it's likely this game was just implemented into a lot of games in the future. There used to be a section on MDickie.com called Galleries where you could send Matt your art and games to be put there. It was a cool idea and I don't know why he took it off, along with most of the site. The same idea as Screw You, but instead of everyone fighting, everyone starts playing sports with random objects. Here's an example from Matt. Baseball with a gun, and grenades during a war, and tennis with briefcases in an office. This was a pretty interesting idea, and I'm sad it never came to light. Another game idea Matt had, capture the flag being water. You play as prisoners with sadistic guards watching you. Ooh, like another content. Tetris, but with dead bodies, I think. The person who created this Iceberg said that there was a lot more, but for the sake of convenience and my sanity, we can't count them all. Matt experimented with making games using Dark Basic. He completed some animations in these experiments, but never pursued a game with it. PC Format had a competition for who could make the best mod for their version of the game, Xenon. Matt made one, but unfortunately he lost the source code for the original mod, making it lost forever. This was apparently a scrapped MDickie game, and I don't really know what it's about. Like, I can't find what it's about. There's literally nothing I can find about this game. Like, Jesus Christ. Matt used to take game requests. He, of course, doesn't do it anymore because it takes a lot of time to make a game. Like, imagine if he still took requests, like releasing a game every day. That would be so fun, but impossible. This was a game that Matt made about his roommate Ian drinking and going on dates with girls that have boyfriends. I don't want to talk about this. A drawing made by Kenzie War of Yamato, a character from Digimon that Matt used for a while in 2002. A piece of art that was also featured in the art gallery. Unfortunately, asking Matt to add multiplayer will never work as Matt has literally no interest in it. Matt was once sent a Hard Time fan pillow, which you can see in some of his videos. Look, there it is, right there. That's the pillow. Yep, that's what we're talking about. In the game Family Christmas, there's a cheat code to turn into Bart Simpson. There's also a code to turn into a Marine as well. A demo for the AI that Matt developed for his games. The demo was likely a character sprites walking around or something. In the 2D games, if you die on the free version of the game, you get a small cutscene where someone says that they were going to revive you, but then they say that you don't have the full version of the game. For example, like washing up on the shore in Wrecked or dying in school days. A quote from MDickie himself. I've temporarily Americanized my logo as a mark of respect. I may be British, but it's common knowledge that at least 80% of my audience is American, so I felt I should address it in some way. Being a huge wrestling fan for the past 10 years, whose only heroes are American, I have developed a lot of admiration and respect for the country. It has been my intention to move to America, and fortunately my career in video games is proving to be the perfect excuse to do that. When the time comes, I will have the honor of living in America that has overcome this tragedy and grown stronger still. Absolute legend. This website used to let you play some of Matt's early stuff. This website is no longer up. A modding website for his early games that also isn't up anymore. This was around the time of his retirement. Someone uploaded a video that showed a series of emails from this person to Matt. The creator of this Iceberg doesn't remember all the details, but they were asking about being able to buy the full version of Wrestling Revolution 3D when a mod is applied to avoid piracy. Matt responded negatively and went on a full rant about how he hates Android users because they always install the paid version for free. And if I remember correctly, he dodged the question. He also mentions how he is debating whether or not to even keep putting games on mobile because of this. He also mentions a 2D game that he was going to make, but he moved away from it for this reason. I also remember this video where he said that he is basically giving away his paid games because they were so cheap. I don't want to talk about this one. We don't know the actual frame rates of the 2D games, but it was somewhere around 15 to 20 frames per second. It's unknown why he went with this. On the 2D games, it's tolerable, but in Wrestling Revolution 3D and Weekend Warriors, it's just terrible. You can, of course, reach 30 FPS by putting the game speed all the way up, but I don't have to explain why most people wouldn't want that. There was apparently an imposter going around in fan forums. Matt was quick to debunk them, though. This must have been the person who was gloating about how good his games were while pretending to be Matt. Every August from 2001 to 2005, there was events that would cause delays and cost Matt lots of money. Firstly is having to learn a new coding language because his current one at the time was becoming outdated, then released an improved product so Matt had to drop his new languages to return. Number 2, monitor burning out, making it impossible to meet deadlines. 3, losing a drive with many unreleased games which are now lost forever. 4, an important laptop component burnt out while he was working on Sure Shot 3D. It had to be delayed, and now fans were expecting a full game, and were disappointed when the game was not what they expected. 5, After 2 lost events, Matt decided to finally buy a new computer. Unfortunately, the business he placed an order with went out of business, and he ended up not receiving a refund or the laptop. He was basically broke. However, a compilation he had for sale was able to cover the cost of the lost money, and he was able to buy a new laptop 2 months later. A collection CD of his games that he sold. As the name suggests, it was a collection that showed the evolution of his work. On the first version of this chart, someone proposed an entry where they remembered Matt saying he had lost some data when making Revolution 3D. The creator asked them if they mixed it up with The Curse of August, but apparently it is something different. If this is proven false, the creator will take this down. Matt won an award on a website for his development, and he was able to choose between a cash prize or a championship belt. He chose the belt because the money is temporary. In a Q&A, Matt was asked why his name was stylized as Matt with 1 T and not Matt with 2 T's. His explanation was that on arcade machines, you can only use 3 letters on a name. He included 2865000 in the explanation, which is probably his high score in some kind of arcade game. Matt decided to mock his fans who kept bothering him about adding stuff to his games by posting a screenshot to Facebook showing different modes in Wrecked, including school mode, prison mode, wrestling mode, 3D mode, and some others. Obviously it was a joke, but people in the comments actually believed it. This was great, and in my opinion, he should do something like this again. A song made by Vengeful Blessings made for Matt. It uses some voice lines from the MDickie Show, and it's of a political nature.
Stand up for the pledge.
Pledge to our grievance.
They pledged their allegiance to body bags,
To drag
wrote the ignited rage of hysteria,
corpses.
and to those who are subject
Use
to
self-restraint.
indigenous land, damnation to
Castration.
those not now,
Take the same.
that they live miserable, miserably, and rush them to fall.
In your clouds.
Oh, what are you doing? You're meant to be hiding behind closed doors. Why don't we say what happened? If you got out into the public domain, you'd cause a worldwide panic. And that's exactly what you've done. Look at the crowd. They're all scared. They're terrified. So am I. Didn't we warn you what would happen if you ran away? Didn't we warn you what we'd do if we found you out in public? We said we'd kill you. We weren't lying. Hell, I've sent my own people to death. Think I'm gonna hesitate to kill you?
Armageddon, we letting it happen. Armageddon, exactly how they want it. Armageddon, forces summon. Armageddon, authority does the clapping. Armageddon, forces place in the front.
The first wrestling promotion to ask Matt to make a game about their promotion. It's unknown if the download can be found anywhere right now. Okay, so this entry isn't entirely true, but what this is referring to is the fact that Spirituality is on Amazon for $356. Not quite $600, but still a lot. Matt didn't see the game being successful enough to warrant a sequel. I don't know how successful the game was, but a sequel did end up happening. Matt says his last name is like a battle scar, and he's the only person who can be proud of it. Because Dickie, get it?
Penis!
After Michael Jackson's charges were dropped in 2004, Matt made an Empire demo where you play as MJ, wrestling critics and defending himself from accusations. Matt didn't renew his website in 2002, so it was taken down until 2003. His previous laptop would crash so often that he would have to schedule tea breaks every 30 minutes, which must have been pretty good, because I love tea. Matt's brother, who's the only relative of Matt we know of. He is also a manager in Reach. Well, I mean, we also know he has a daughter, but, like, we don't know her name or anything, so, like, he's the only, like, name, you know what I mean. There are a lot of characters that weren't adapted to Wrestling Revolution 3D for unexplained reasons. There's even some characters that made it to Wrestling Revolution 3D but were abandoned in Empire, most notably Adam Bradbury. Park Life was the new name for Super Lucky Dream footballers when it started development. Matt would keep giving development updates until a post titled Park Death. The game was close to being done, but the problem was that the game was a mess to run. It was actually unclear if he meant performance-wise or something unrelated. The game was scrapped and unfortunately never saw the light of day. Even though this version of the game got scrapped, he reworked the idea into Grassroots, which would later release in 2006. It's basically self-explanatory. He basically just thought it wasn't necessary. Similarly, Matt ends a lot of his paragraphs with ... This one, I don't really know, but Matt said he just kinda does, and he still even does it sometimes, even in his most recent games. Fans have come up with an official timeline to the 2D games, which Matt himself has endorsed. I won't explain it here, but here is some of the important events. A super serum is created, which splits the timeline, where in one super city, the serum succeeds in giving people powers, and in the other timeline, the serum fails and starts a zombie outbreak, which leads to extra lives. This timeline is a true timeline that eventually leads back to Backwars. Using a music recognition app like Shazam on some of the entrance or game themes leads to an artist named Ralph Otto Rogala. Most notably, the song The Music, The Message uses the same line as the I'm a bigger man with a bigger plan entrance theme. The most likely answer is that he used the same free music software as Matt and put together a bunch of the samples and uploaded them as songs. I doubt he's the original artist, but yeah, I can definitely see similarities between this and something Matt would put into his games. Empire Mall was a website dedicated to Wrestling Empire mods, and I'm pretty sure some other games as well. In the video from the infamous mobile fiasco, Matt mentions that he had an idea to make a cowboy game based on Red Dead Redemption. It most likely never got out of the idea stage, though. The Rock, Justin Liger, and Bret Hart are Matt's favorite wrestlers. This entry pretty much speaks for itself. He revealed it once in a Q&A, I think. Matt had a crazy amount of spelling mistakes on his website back in the day, same as in some of his games. Don't take this seriously, but the crowd in the 3D wrestling games are 2D pictures of characters. Technically, they shouldn't be able to see the match. Realistically, a one-dimensional being can't see into the second dimension, a 2D being can't observe the third dimension, and so on. Yeah, this also makes sense because, and I think in Popcorn, the characters are viewing the opposite direction when the movie plays, but it's interesting. Contrary to popular belief, Matt is not a homophobe. On my script it says, Matt is not a homophobic. No, Matt is not a homophobe. In Sportuality, he says, we've got a long way to go before we complain that there's too much love in the world. He does, however, poke fun at companies forcing it on the wrestlers in Wrestling Revolution, and some other references in other games that, in a way, could be viewed as homophobic.
You're gay!
Matt revealed that the vocals used in the Hard Time theme are actually a woman's voice, just pitched down. Unfortunately, he hasn't revealed the vocal pack he found them in. This actually makes sense considering the high notes he hits. Here, I'll play it for you right now. the most popular mod for Wrestling Empire. It's really cool, and there's even a mod for the sequel as well. A magazine Matt wrote an article for. Matt's Rocky game was only on his website for 1 year, which is even less than the making of the profit, I think. In the 2D games, locations are all mostly the same, like the school and prison. It's not just locations, though. In School Days, you can get information about the school that used to be the prison. Most recently, in Empire, there's references to a school, a prison, and a super serum. In one of the venues in Wrestling at Revolution, the hospital I believe, you can see a portion of the office map from CS Source. You can even see the hostages! This is also used at the reception area in School Days. In the develop article that Matt wrote, the question is asked and positioned next to a picture of Kurt Cobain. I'm not sure what it means at all, but it's interesting, I guess. Where MDickie Ltd is located on Google Maps. I don't know if this is where he lives or where he works or I don't know. The dialogue in Matt's games tends to have unnecessary question marks and other exaggerated punctuation. You see what I did there? I framed it as a question, even like it's a reference. You get it. Basically, the NPCs in games prior to Empire had a huge ego. For example, any negative response to anything would cause them to get violent, no matter how innocent the conversation may seem. In Empire, the NPCs can still react negatively, but they are more likely to be understanding of your response. The mod page was introduced as a way for fans to find mods for his games. It was great. But sometime in 2019, the page just gave you a message telling you that he doesn't condone editing his games anymore, likely because of Android. Scratch that. Definitely because of Android. The most recent update to it says that he encourages people modding his games, just not distributing fully pirated versions of them. He must have had a change of heart. Now, the page doesn't exist anymore, and his website feels desolate, as if it was made in the 90s, which it probably was, to be honest. Matt's university paper that he was featured on after getting a publishing deal. In an interview, he said that he intends to keep the giant MD as his logo. I personally don't like this logo because it honestly feels outdated and only fits some of his games, but it's fine, I guess. The creator of this Iceberg made this theory, and it's kind of crazy, but let's hear him out. So when a new wrestler comes into the scene in Wrestling Empire, it's usually some sort of Frankenstein monster, where Legends is paid by the promotions to recycle dead wrestlers to keep their companies popular, hence the 0-week contract given to dead wrestlers. And this also explains why the new wrestlers are just an amalgamation of the Legends roster. Sorry. Not gonna lie, this really isn't that bad of a theory. I kinda like it. When Matt retired, he had no intention of returning and lost interest in gaming in general. In an interview, he said that this changed when he played Super Mario Odyssey on a plane, and it rekindled his love for gaming. He also saw this as an opportunity to develop for the Switch. Thank you, Mario, for continuing this Legends career. I never imagined I would cover something this big before, but I had a really good time writing this video. I actually wrote this script way quicker than I thought I would. It took me around a week, but I was working a lot, so maybe it was that. I really hope this video does well, because my channel has not been doing very well recently, and I've been working on this video, and I hope I haven't been gone that long, so I really don't want my channel to die. I'm sorry, but I hope you enjoyed the video, because I spent a lot of time making this video, and if you did enjoy it, I would really appreciate it if you liked. If you want to see more from me, then subscribe, but if you don't want to, that's fine. Any amount of support is appreciated. Thank you, and have a good one.
Armageddon, forces some Armageddon. Authority doesn't clap an Armageddon. First place in the front.
Co-ops and military henchmen in the trenches extract BOW, climbing over fences as we bleed for these politicians and get burned when they blind and missing someone concerned where they accuse and use the higher power is roams to condone this hell of home. Their mental prowess can't let it roam. They befriended desires with empty promises. Strike when it's right, we supply the right amount of confidence. Rightful cause the persecutors planting warfare and crowds that move us can't find them or sort out their enemies, so they cook up some poor excuses.